wrong turn, then I see a smile on your face. All the planets will align with nothing out of place. Thinking things are good again and not against the ropes. Maybe someone's twisting my kaleidoscope.
Welcome to Cumberland Country. I'm CJ Cumberland. For the next hour, I'll be your guide to the best local and regional country and bluegrass music around. So ease back, relax, and leave the rest to Crescent Hill Radio.
All right, welcome once again, friends and neighbors, to another edition of Cumberland Country right here on WCHQ 100.9 FM Crescent Hill Radio. I am CJ Cumberland, your host, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. Excited to have 10-time International Bluegrass Music Association Fiddler of the Year Mike Cleveland, along with his sideman here, Mr. Brian Allen, live in the studio. How you doing, Mike?
Doing great, man. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being here. We saw each other. It's not too long ago. We were doing a little project at Goldsmith Studios, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later.
Right.
Because it's pretty amazing.
That was a blast.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But you're here. You've got a brand new album out called Fiddler's Dream. It's a solo album. It's not a Flamekeeper album, correct?
Right.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that, but I want to get some background information because WCHQ, we play only local and regional music, and we have a lot of musicians that listen in because we play their music. One of the the only places here in town that does play local and regional music. There's another station across town that plays some of it, but that's all we play.
Right.
So, are you from the general area originally?
Oh yeah, you could say I'm from the general area. I'm actually from Henryville, Indiana, just right across the river from Louisville. But I've lived in southern Indiana most of my life, and still live there. But the Louisville area is not very far away at all. You might as well call me Louisville. I actually did live there quite a few years when I was in high school.
Well, you're from the sunny side of Louisville, I've heard it called.
Yeah, there you go.
How did you first get started in music? I mean, you started very young, didn't you?
I did. My grandparents were big fans of bluegrass music. None of my family ever played, but my grandparents really loved bluegrass, and they started this bluegrass association in Henryville, Indiana.
Okay.
And there was another association that was going on at Scottsburg, Indiana, and they would have these shows Henryville show would be the second, fourth Saturday. Scottsburg show would be the third Saturday of the month, and the fifth. So anyhow, when I guess they started all this, and about that time I was born, and they started taking me to these local things like that, and it just I was probably exposed to bluegrass music as early as 6 months old.
Wow.
And just people tell me all the time, who used to go there, that they used to see me sitting there in a stroller listening to bluegrass.
Yeah.
And so I heard a fiddle player play the song Orange Blossom Special when I was about 4 years old.
Okay.
And that changed my life. Most kids, they change their minds about every day when they're young.
Sure.
But from that point on, I think I always kind of knew what I wanted to do.
Right. So when's the first time you actually held a fiddle in your hand?
Well, that year I started school. I was 4 years old, getting ready to turn 5, and the strings program at school, they had a Suzuki program, taught Suzuki violin, classical music, and so my parents got me in that, and I remember walking into the classroom, and the music teacher was saying, "So you want to play the violin? What is it you know about the violin?" I said, "Well, I don't know a lot about the violin, but I know a lot about the fiddle.
Right.
And I want to learn how to play the Orange Blossom Special." And she said, "Well, that'll be a while."
Right.
So I would play classical during the week and bluegrass on the weekends. Once I got to where I could play a few tunes, I started going around and playing at the local Henryville jams, and as a matter of fact, that's where I first met Brian over here.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, the first tune that I ever played, I remember, was in the Scottsburg parking lot, and I had just learned Boil the Cabbage Down, and I remember playing that song, and my grandma, she was looking for somebody who could play that on the guitar.
Right.
And Brian Allen was standing there. So Brian Allen and I were, Brian was the first one to kind of take pity on me and play that tune with me.
So you guys go way back, you and Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Brian Allen also, folks, if you're just tuning in, is with us live in the studio too. You know what? I want to go ahead and kick off the show with a live tune, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So what are we going to play first?
Well, this is a Randy Travis tune, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're here promoting a show that we're doing at the Letter Song Calligraphy Studio. It's a nice venue there on Story Avenue. We're playing there tomorrow night, just the two of us. And we did one of these back in May, and we had an absolute blast, because the truth is, Brian and I, we don't get to play all that much together. So
yeah, Letter Song's a great listening room environment. I love going there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what's this called, Brian?
The Storms of Life.
Yeah. Play.
There's a dirty piece of cardboard that reads Montgomery Ward, taped across the windshield by old Ford. A six-pack on the front seat and a box of chicken wings. I'm dialing across my radio for a song that I could sing. Better change my wandering ways. I've seen my better days, always getting high when I get low. Lord, I left my soul out in the rain. Oh, what a price I've had to pay. The storms of life are washing me away. back aside, fading on the bar, brings back sweet memories of Mama's farm. When love was just a country girl, she lived on down the road. You know, she almost had me turned around. That was years ago. Better change my wandered ways. I've seen my better days. Always getting high when I get low. Lord, I left my soul out in the rain. Oh, the price I've had to pay. The storms of life are washing me away. Yeah, the storms of life are washing me away.
Mike Cleveland with Brian Allen live on Cumberland Country, WCHQ 100.9 FM. Very nice, folks. Very nice. I wanted to ask you, Mike, you mentioned earlier that you were in the violin program, you wanted to play the fiddle. Is there an actual physical difference between a violin and a fiddle, or is it just the way you play it?
No, there's some minor setup things, but that is kind of a question that comes up a lot, because it is two different styles of playing, but now there are some setup differences, and in this case, I've got a fiddle with a C string added on it, and that's a little bit unusual because most of them only have 4, but for the most part, it's the same instrument.
Now do you have an 8-string fiddle also? Is that right?
I do.
You do?
I haven't had it out in a while.
I got you. Because I think last time you were on the show, you brought that.
Yeah.
Michael Cleveland, Brian Allen, they have a show at Letter Song Calligraphy Studio and Gallery. That's tomorrow, November 11th. And Michael's here promoting also his brand new album, Fiddler's Dream. Mike, I want to ask you about your influences, but before I do that, what does Mike Cleveland listen to when he just wants to sit back and enjoy music?
Oh, man. Well, usually when I listen to bluegrass, I like traditional bluegrass, I do like all kinds of music, though. I really like to listen to... I'm getting more into jazz here lately. I'm really into Telecaster players.
Yeah?
I love to listen to people like Brent Mason and Danny Gatton and Roy Buchanan and Guthrie Trapp. He's one of my favorite ones.
Right.
But just it kind of depends on what day. To tell you the truth, if I really want to listen to music, I read a lot. I read a lot of audio books, but when I want to listen to music, I just put my iPhone on shuffle, and that's pretty cool because sometimes you hear music on there you didn't even know you had.
Absolutely.
So,
somebody was telling me, again, I mentioned, and I'm going to get into more detail about it a little later, that you helped us out with the project that we're working on at Goldsmith Studios, and I believe somebody was there with you, and you were you were tracking, and he's like, well, we were there, and I forget where it was, and he said they got the Telecasters out, and they just started jamming.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a party that a friend of ours had, Dean Metcalf from the Bob and Tom show.
Right.
He lives in Indy, and he has this big picking party. He has 2 of them a year, and we went to one a few months ago, and me and our banjo player, Cody Looper, he's a great guitar player, and he's a telly nut, too.
Right.
So, but this Dean has a ton of the electric guitars, any kind of guitars, and he had a couple sitting out there, and I was a little apprehensive about it, to tell you the truth, because I hadn't really played any of his stuff. And I guess a few of them had been there, and I guess he gave permission, you know.
Right.
We plugged them in, and we did our best Roy Nichols impression.
There you go.
Some of it we hit, some of it we didn't.
I got you. So who, you know, if you've had a fiddle in your hand since, you know, that young of an age, who did you kind of grow up? I always ask people, who did you want to be when you grew up as a musician? I mean, who did you grow up kind of idolizing? That
Man,
kind of thing?
it just, yeah, it's weird how that is, because I listen to a little bit of everybody, and if I didn't listen to them back then, I'm listening to them now. I mean, it you know, as you get older, your tastes change, and you start to notice a lot more that you might not notice. But like I did, even from when I was young, I did listen to everybody. Big influences: Benny Martin and Scotty Stoneman, Kenny Baker, Chubby Wise, later Bobby Hicks, Dale Potter, and there's so many good ones, you know, and they all have their own thing.
Right.
And, you know, it just, and each of them are the best at that.
Yeah, it's their thing. I got you.
I was actually talking to a fiddle player one time that, because it's so easy to copy people these days, you know, because you got it all on YouTube. You could slow it all down. You can listen to it. But I was talking to him, and I was like, you know, man, what were your influences? And it was the legendary fiddle player Tex Logan, you know.
Right.
And who did you listen to? And he said, well, you know, and he was kind of, he had to think. He was like, well, I'm not really sure. And what it was, those guys back then, you know, they might have been able to hear it one time on a record.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah, you know, some of them might have been able to afford, you know, records or whatever. But most of the time, they heard it on a record, or they heard it on the radio on the Opry, and then they'd spend all week trying to work it out, you know. Wasn't no way to record it, no way to slow it down. Right. So it just kind of really makes you appreciate what those guys did.
Absolutely. Well, as I said, you have a brand new solo album out, Fiddler's Dream. We're going to play a cut from it right now. I think we're going to go ahead and play the title cut. Yeah. Fiddler's Dream. So here's Mike Cleveland, Fiddler's Dream on Cumberland Country, WCHQ 100.9 FM. right, that was Michael Cleveland, the title cut from his brand new CD, Fiddler's Dream. And Michael is live in the studio along with Brian Allen. And, I'm really digging that new album, Michael.
Thanks.
Where did you record that?
I recorded it at the Compass Studios, which actually used to be Hillbilly Central, where Tom Paul Glazer, or the Glazer brothers, had that studio, and Waylon and a lot of the outlaw music was recorded there. And so Compass bought that some years back, and so that's where we recorded most of it. And we did some of it at Dave Ferguson's studio in Nashville called the Butcher Shop.
Okay, cool. I want to ask you about your writing, Mike. Do you have a writing process? Do you sit down and say, hey, I'm going to write a new Mike Cleveland song?
Sometimes I can do that. It's weird. And sometimes I'll get a phrase in my head, and I'll just start working with that phrase and figure out what to put with it. I'm always worried about ripping off something, some other tune, and I'm always asking, does this sound like anything you ever heard before?
Right.
Because, but, yeah, it's kind of different every time, but, most of it comes just every once in a while I'll get something in my head, and it's like, that's a cool line,
right.
and then kind of play that over and over and try and think. And sometimes, I've had it where I can map the whole thing out in my head,
right.
and just play it and figure it out. But most of the time, I have to mess with it some.
Sure. Do you feel like that, when I ask this of songwriters, like I've been doing this show for 5 years next month, and I've had countless songwriters on the show. Do you feel like your best work just kind of comes to you, or do you have to work for it?
Well, none of this is proven yet, because I haven't had a lot of my original music recorded up until this album. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, that the ones that just kind of fall into place, that, and I've had a few like that turned out pretty well, I think.
Sure. Well, let's go ahead and play another live tune. I'm excited. What are you guys going to play now?
Well, we're going to try and play this tune. Brian and I kind of did some contests when we were growing up, and this is a kind of a tune that you might hear in a fiddle contest, in a Texas-style fiddle contest. Most of the contests are Texas-style oriented, so no Black Mountain Rag, no Orange Blossom Special, no anything like that.
Right.
But this is one of those tunes that I think Johnny Gimble, who used to play with Bob Wills in the Texas Playboys, I think he wrote this.
All right.
It's called the Gardenia Waltz.
Cleveland, along with Brian Allen, live on Cumberland Country, WCHQ 100.9 FM. I want to remind you guys, if you're listening, that we here at WCHQ, we do all that social media stuff. We have our website, CrescentHillRadio.com. We have a Facebook page, which is Facebook.com/CrescentHillRadio. We do that Twitter thing, too, at WCHQ-FM, and Instagram, WCHQ-FM. Mike, do you do the social media stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're on there. You can visit our website at flamekeeperband.com, and also you can go find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MC-Flamekeeper.
There you go.
So,
you know,
give us a like on there. We need all the friends we can get.
There you go. Mike, I want to, this part of the interview, I normally ask my guests what their aspirations are in music. Now, you've accomplished a lot up till now. But I guess what I want to ask you is there something that you have yet to do that you would like to do? Is there a venue you would like to play that you haven't played yet?
At this point, I just want to continue my writing and see where that goes, and definitely play as many dates with the band as possible. We've been on the festival circuit for a while, and we really enjoy doing the festivals, but we're trying to get into more of the performing arts centers and things of that nature, because when you do the performing arts centers and the folk festivals and things like that, you're probably going to be playing for people who haven't heard bluegrass before, and I think that's where it needs to be also.
I wanted to ask you about that. Do you feel like the bluegrass is being appreciated more these days as an art form rather than kind of like a hillbilly type music?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, but I think definitely, it's I would say so if I had to guess.
I got you. So more of the highbrow folks are listening in.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Well, we're going to play another cut from your album Fiddler's Dream.
Okay. Yeah. And this is the Steamboat, right?
Yeah, we'll do that one. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, we were talking about that studio, Compass Studio that used to be Hillbilly Central. Mm-hmm. Well, we were looking for songs for Sam Bush to sing, and we knew that we wanted to do a John Hartford song because he had a connection with John Hartford and Vassar and all those guys, you know. But so we tossed a few things back and forth, and we finally ended up asking Sam, well, what do you want to sing? And he said, well, I want to do the Steamboat Whistle Blues. And I said, well, that'd be great. And we recorded it, and it wasn't until after we recorded it that I found out that the steam-powered aeroplane album that Hartford recorded that this song was on was actually done in that studio.
Oh, wow.
So to record this with Sam Bush and to hear Vassar stories and John Hartford stories and all that, and with Sam Bush, it was really a thrill.
All right. Well, let's give it a spin. Here's Michael Cleveland from his new album, Fiddler's Dream. Here's Steamboat Whistle Blues on Cumberland Country.
Well, I started out to be a towboating man, but I never got the hang of a ratchet bar. I was growing up a decking in the Illinois trade with coal dust in my ear. I got stuck in the ice on Christmas Eve and I froze my ass, it's true. Just a shivering and a shaking with the down south case of them steamboat whistle blues. Oh, Captain Way, I'm sorry, my hat is off to you. You've been hanging out by the old cook stove with the steamboat whistle blues. I called your phone, but I didn't get no one to answer. So I opened up the window and I smoked a little bit, and I watched the cars go by. Gonna hunt you up and ask you if you found out anything new. Are you hanging to the best you had with the Steamboat Whistle Blues? I've been right here since 9 o'clock, and believe you me, that's true. Just looking at the waterways churning with the Steamboat Whistle Blues. Where it looks all square like a crossword puzzle on a landscape. Looks like electric shaver now where the courthouse used to be. The grass is all synthetic and we don't know for sure about the food. The only thing we know for sure is them Steamboat Whistle Blues. I'd sit and watch my TV if I thought I could trust the news. About the only thing I trust these days are them Steamboat Whistle Blues. Far out, Johnny, well, I heard him say, stretched out back on the waterbed. Bluegrass music is a thing of the past, and the same for rock and roll. So I loaned him $2-3, and he gave me the latest news. Left me here with a Rolling Stone and the Steamboat Whistle Blues. I'll tear off down the river someday before I'm through. Then I'll come back here and I'll see it out with the Steamboat Whistle Blues.
All right, that was Mike Cleveland from his new album, Fiddler's Dream. That was Steamboat Whistle Blues, and Mike is live in the studio with us here on Cumberland Country, along with Brian Allen. And I dug that one too, man.
Thanks.
That new album's good.
Oh, thanks.
I wanted to ask you, because I played this on my afternoon drive show this afternoon. Your band, Flamekeeper, you guys covered a Julian Lennon song.
We did.
Yeah. How did that come about? I'm just curious.
Well, it was funny because Josh just sent me, the first time I ever heard that song, Josh sent a demo of him and just playing it, singing it on the guitar.
Yeah.
And I could have swore it was a Del McCoury song or something like that. I was, man, or either that or I thought it was something that he wrote, and I liked it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so I messaged Josh, and I was asking him, man, when did you write that? and he said I didn't, and he sent me the original version. It knocked me out.
Right.
It's just, and you know, some people they really try to look for old rock tunes like that to record.
Right.
And I can't say that that's anything that we've really ever tried to do, just because of the name of the band and pretty much what we do is traditional bluegrass.
Sure.
But man, I immediately, it was just that one kind of fell into our laps, you could say.
That's a good song. I actually played that today. So again, Mike, you and Brian are at Letter Song Calligraphy Studio and Gallery tomorrow night, and you're going to be putting on a show there. Let's say my listeners are wanting to come out. What can they expect from the show tomorrow night?
Well, some great guitar playing, I'll tell you that. Some good guitar playing, singing from Brian Allen. There'll be some fiddle playing, a mandolin playing. We kind of do a variety of different stuff, you know, because, and I'm pretty sure that you'll find it's a little different than what Flamekeeper does.
Right.
Because I mean, Brian and I, we've been playing together for years, and so we have a lot of material from kind of different perspectives, I guess you could say.
Do you feel like, I mean, you guys have been playing so long, you kind of feel each other out while you're in the middle of a song?
Well, it's just like that to me. It's just, no matter who you play with, when you play with somebody that you're used to playing with, it just sort of falls into place.
Absolutely.
There's nothing like it. I mean, I can go out and play, with everybody in the world, and come back and play with Brian, and it's like, yep, that's it.
Right. You mentioned playing with other people, and I do want to mention this because it was kind of a highlight of my musical, I guess, promotion career. I'm a musician, but I do a lot of promotion too. But earlier this year, we put together the Merle Haggard tribute down at Manny and Merle, and you were part of our house band, and that was a all-star band there.
It was.
We had Steve Cooley on guitar, Johnny Berry on steel guitar. We had Aaron Biebelhauser, Andy Brown, just a bunch of great musicians, man. Did you have fun doing that?
It was a blast.
Yeah.
It was. I'm sorry the reason that it came about,
right?
But yeah, it was definitely fun to be a part of that.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and play another live tune. We're quickly running out of time. I want to try to get another couple live ones in. What do you got us going to play for us now?
Okay, Brian. We'll get Brian to play one. What you gonna play, man?
Across the Big Sandy.
Wear it out.
Mike Cleveland with Brian Allen. live on Cumberland Country, WCHQ 100.9 FM. That's a foot stomper right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. As my old Uncle Dallas would say, if I don't light your fire, your wood's wet.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's talk to Brian for a second. We've been talking to Mike all night long. Brian, so you've been playing guitar almost as long as Mike's been playing fiddle?
Yeah, really. I started I started learning when I was 7, and I met Mike. I think he was first time he was about 2 or 3. I think walking around Henryville, and then, like he said earlier, we played a tune out in the parking lot at Scottsburg, and through the years, I ran into him different times, and then we played in a band in the 90s, Blue Hollow Band, a local band around here, and had a great time and spent a lot of good times.
There you go. So you guys, how often do you guys get together and play like this, Mike?
Well, not as often as we used to. It used to be that Brian would be over at my house. We would hang out for sometimes a week at a time.
Some holiday or part of the holidays when we were out of school.
And
picking. Yeah.
I guess we both figured out we had to go make some money.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, I kind of touched on this earlier, and Mike, you are a part of. I think it's a groundbreaking thing here in the Louisville area called the Louisville Chord Project, and basically what that is, and I haven't talked a whole lot about it, but we've gotten 2 different singer-songwriters together and kind of stuck them together in the studio and said, write a song, that kind of thing, And we put you with Mr. Teddy Abrams, the conductor of the Louisville Orchestra. And I tell you what, it was quite the, experience kind of witnessing that. What was that like to you? Was that just kind of old hat? I mean, did you enjoy that?
No, not at all. I mean, I just kind of had met Teddy and played with him a couple times just in the past year, and I didn't really know him at all before that, and we definitely had never sat down and tried to write anything, and that was probably my first co-write with somebody who wasn't just somebody in the band or something like that, and it was just. That guy's a genius, just to watch him and to hear him play in itself. I mean, it's incredible. I mean,
I mean, it was amazing to sit there and listen to what you guys came up with, and it's an epic, I think something like 14-minute instrumental, and it goes. I mean, I can listen to it, and it's like it goes like that, And I'm excited for the Louisville area to hear that. That's going to be coming out in January of 2017. So.
Oh man, it was an honor to be a part of that. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And we're going to play one more cut from Fiddler's Dream. That's your new solo album. So, do you want to play Tall Timber or Blues for Bill?
I'll tell you what. Let's play this. Tall Timber. This is a tune that I played twin fiddles with my buddy Jason Carter from the Del McCoury Band.
Okay.
And man, we have a blast playing twin fiddles together, and this is one that we really love to play, and you could probably tell we're having a blast just by listening to these trade-offs that are going to happen here.
I got you. Well, here's Mike Cleveland from his new album, Fiddler's Dream. Here's Tall Timber on Cumberland Country. Here we go. All right, that was Mike Cleveland from his new album, Fiddler's Dream. That was Tall Timber, and Mike is live in the studio along with Brian Allen, and we're getting near the end of the show here, Mike, and I want to say, in case I forget, I appreciate you guys being here, Brian and Mike both.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit. You mentioned what is it? Compass Studios. Used to be, you said Hillbilly Central.
Yeah.
The recording of this album. What do you like the recording studio atmosphere? Do you like being in the studio?
I do. I really do, because you can do it over and over
right.
and over. No, I do. You know, it can be a little intimidating at first, and it's pretty much learning. You almost have to play and think a different way, you know, when you play in a studio. But the one thing about it, when you go in there and you start recording and you listen back to it, everything you do is magnified.
Right.
If somebody reaches up, scratches their head,
right,
you can hear it.
Sure.
It's like, so that it can be a little intimidating, and it takes a little bit to get used to. But,
right.
Now the old school guys, you know, which kind of makes you realize how amazing they were once again, they just went in there, recorded live.
Right.
Somebody screwed up, the whole band did it again.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have the opportunity of doing it as much as you want to do it.
Right.
I'm glad.
Oh, I got you. Well, you know, as musicians, I mean, I think we're our own worst critic, and you know, a lot of stuff you and I or Brian would hear, you know, probably average Joe music listener wouldn't even think twice about, you know.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and play one more live song, and then we'll come back and we'll close out the show. What are you going to end on here?
This is we're going to try a tune off the record.
Okay.
And this is one of my tunes. You know, I have a terrible time naming tunes.
Yeah.
And I can write tunes and never come up with a name. And I was playing this for a friend of mine, and he said, "You know, I like that tune. It just reminds me of a Sunday drive."
Right.
Through the country or something, you know, so we called it Sunday Drive.
There you go.
And we'll give this a shot. I ain't played this in a while.
right. Mike Cleveland and Brian Allen live on Cumberland Country, WCHQ 100.9 FM. Awesome, guys. Again, you guys are at Lettersong Calligraphy Studio and Gallery tomorrow.
Yes, 1501 Story Avenue.
Absolutely. And
doors open at 7, show at 8.
Gotcha. And it's a great listening room environment. I love Lettersong. Where can my listeners find out more about you, Mike, and get your new album, maybe get a Flamekeeper album?
Flamekeeperband.com.
All right.
And be sure and keep up with our tour dates. We play around this area every once in a while. It seems like most of the time we have to go about 12 hours away to play a gig,
Right.
But every once in a while we play some stuff in this area, and keep up with us on there, and definitely stop by the Facebook page.
There you go. Mike Cleveland and Brian Allen once again on Cumberland Country. And I encourage you guys to stick around tonight because the music keeps going here on WCHQ. We got Hippy Head's Spotlight coming up at 8 p.m. And I'll be back next week on Cumberland Country. We're going to be doing a special on the Unbridled Project with Kylie Sutton. Alana Fugate is going to be here live along with somebody else. I can't remember her name. But,
Somebody.
You guys have a great night, and we will see you next
Thanks a lot
week.
for having us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We are good. Thanks again, you guys.
Let's take a look at the WCHQ concert view for Thursday, November 10th. All right, folks, got a few shows for you on this lovely fall evening. We'll start you out at Bud's Tavern, where you can go and see the South Enders. Over at Gerstl's place tonight, the War Paintings. Down at Kaju, it's the Shannon Vetter CD release party. Also performing, Jack Holiday and the Westerners. The Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band and the Super Suckers will be performing at the Mercury Ballroom.